This is a German yellowjacket colony. It made its nest in the soffit of this client's garage. This nest was about mid-season, so it was probably about mid to late August that the client had contacted me to do this removal for them. He's actually a viewer of the channel, which is awesome. So thanks so much, Steve, for giving me the Hornet King a call to come and remove this nest. So enjoy your video, brother. So this colony had gotten pretty large up inside this soffit, and as a matter of fact, when I put my ladder and my vacuum near this corner of the garage, they were already pouring out and pretty much attacking the vacuum, which I know it has pheromone on it, but it was pretty much instant. So there was a lot of guards and workers that were pretty much on the ball to keep this nest safe. And you'll notice here that the adults are pouring out from several different areas of the nest. They're not just coming out of one particular hole. So when any kind of colony that makes its nest above soffit, there's really no like particular in and out because they can pretty much get out in any of the corrugation in the soffit. So usually the nests don't have like one particular entrance and exit. It's usually kind of several different exits and entrances into the envelope itself to get into the comb. So oftentimes people will recommend in my comments of my videos to attach a funnel to the end of the nozzle. That way I can catch more adults, and that's just not realistic. The vacuum actually sucks from the center. So even if you put a funnel at the end of the vacuum, it doesn't really change the suction direction. All right, so at this point here, you can pretty much see that there's a ton of yellow jackets flying around me. There was hundreds at this point that were foragers / workers, guards, whatever. And in this colony, there's probably about 1,500 adults inside, which is a pretty phenomenal sized nest. So anytime that I got the vacuum nozzle even close to the nest, you could see the ones that are standing on the comb reacting, and they start just pouring out, even though there's already a swarm outside. So a lot of times I just vacuum up the envelope. Last year when I was doing my removals, I was actually just breaking down the structure of the envelope by hand and throwing it into the bin. But I've actually found this year that it's just as easy, easier to just vacuum it up and let it get sucked up into the canister itself. By the time it gets into the canister, it's pretty much chewed up and just turned into a pulp inside the water in the vacuum. So I had to get my black bin, but you can see they're all swarming around me. The suit that I'm wearing here is the newer suit that I got this year, and it is a breathable suit, so it's got 3 layers of mesh. As a matter of fact, it's got a very fine mesh on the outside, and then a larger foam mesh in the middle section, and then the fine mesh on the inside as well. So it allows it to be breathable, but also gives me significant protection, more so than the solid suit that I had last year and the beginning of this year. Oops-a-daisy, got too much of the comb off. The strength of this vacuum is such that if I get it anywhere close to a lot of the different types of comb, depending on which species I'm vacuuming up, it can actually pull the comb off of the nest, which is what I do not want to do. I don't mind sucking up the envelope, which is what I pretty much go for, but I definitely don't want to remove the actual comb itself. I want to try to pull the nest out all in one piece. There's a lot of adults inside in between the different layers of comb that if I remove the different layers, then it opens them up to be able to fly out and swarm. But if I keep them somewhat what they presume to be protected by keeping the layers of comb together, they don't swarm. So that's less that I have to deal with after the fact. So I try to pull the nests all out in one solid piece. And you can see them crawling around in the different layers here when I turn the nest to the side. You can kind of see in between there and see how many, but look how many are swarming around me. I mean, that's insane numbers. And all those get vacuumed up before I leave. Just wanted to get some shots and show you guys what the nests look like. There's still a little bit of comb up inside of the actual space, but I just took my time here just to get that nest down in there gently into the bin, and then put the lid on so that way the ones that are on the nest don't try to fly out. Just using this nail claw to drag out the last little bit of comb that's up inside the between the rafter space. And I thought it was a lot bigger than what it was. I thought for sure that was another like big chunk, but it turned out to be this smaller little piece. But any little piece of comb that's left up inside could be potential for any returning foragers to try to pick up where they left off. I do spray the inside of these cavities with black flag, and that just deters any foragers that are coming back. It gives them a deterrent, but also if they do venture into the soffit through the corrugation, that they will be killed by the poison. So that's this little bit here, just trying to vacuum up the rest of the envelope, and also any remaining individuals that are in between the rafters. But then what you'll see me do is I actually just put the nozzle kind of here against the wall, and any foragers that are coming back, most of them go into the nozzle, which is like right as rain. They pretty much use the same path that they always use and fly directly into the nozzle trying to get to that path. So there's a sped up version coming up that you just see me kind of holding the nozzle there, and I suck up pretty much every forager coming back. Now the homeowners will still see some activity after I leave, but it's really just temporary for the next day or so until those adults die off. So suck up the last little bit of envelope here. And once the nest is removed, that's pretty much the whole homing beacon for these returning foragers. So if the queen and the comb is gone, then there's nothing left for these adults and they will die. See, the numbers are already significantly lower than what they were a few shots ago from this outside angle. But I do kind of stay here and vacuum up as many as I possibly can. And oftentimes I'll take the wide end of the vacuum and just kind of hold it in one particular spot. You'll see me do this with bald-faced hornet nests and any kind of like aerial nest building yellow jackets, and pretty much hold the vacuum in the original entrance way where it used to be, and the ones that are coming back from foraging pretty much just fly directly into the nozzle. So I'm vacuuming up the rest of the envelope from the inside as I can, reaching in pretty much with my entire arm. And you can see there's still a good amount of foragers swarming around and things, but I do get pretty much 90% of them before I leave. And just hold it here in this one spot. I'm making it look like I'm working hard, you know, hand on hip. So once I get the nest home, as usual, I crack open my bin here and I start taking the nest apart bit by bit and vacuum up any of the individuals that are still left on the nest. So you can see there's still a lot of numbers here on the nest. Some ones that had hatched out on the way home, ones that were between the different layers of comb, and I start just kind of pulling the nest apart and then vacuum them up as quick as I can. And then any ones that leave the nest, they will kind of float around this area for a little while, but it's not like it's going to be they're going to restart a nest here or anything, because once the nest is gone, they have nothing left and they just fly off and die. There's a lot of moisture inside this bin, so these bins aren't like super airtight, but they're tight enough that the moisture that comes off of these larvae and things while they're in the bin, it condensates on the side of the bin, and you wouldn't believe the amount of moisture. I mean, some of these times I pull these nests out, if I don't vacuum them out right away and maybe they sit in there for 2 days, the amount of moisture that's inside these bins is crazy. Like almost an inch of water at the bottom, like if it's like tilted on its end. It's incredible the amount of water that these larvae and just insects just kind of evaporate off while they're inside of there. And as I break the nest apart, oftentimes you'll see a lot of the larvae that fall out and land inside the bottom of the bin. And instead of trying to avoid sucking them up so I can suck up the adults, I pretty much just suck them all up into the vacuum. And since I don't suck up any black flag into the vacuum while I'm doing my removals, it's okay to just dump that out, and the chickens can pick through the dead adults and pick out the larvae. And usually the piles of adults are gone by the next morning anyway, because local opossums and skunks that I have around my house will actually dig through them and chew up a lot of the adults. Something that I had read, a lot of people ask about opossums and how they can dig up nests, live nests, and not get hurt, or the reason why they dig them up in the first place, if they can get hurt. Well, it turns out that they have the same peptide in their blood that doesn't allow them to feel the pain of a sting. So they might get injected with that venom that has the peptides, enzymes, and norepinephrine in it, but it doesn't affect them because they already have that very similar chemical structure in their blood. So everybody has been asking in my videos, a lot of new viewers and things ask about me showing the inside of the vacuum when I'm done, and they're disappointed that I don't show it. So this is the inside of the vacuum. It's pretty anticlimactic. It's literally like a pile of mud. I could pretty much remake this with anything and tell you that it's the inside of the vacuum after removal, but this actually is legitimately what it looks like. So the paper pretty much turns into a pulp. It looks a lot muddy because probably there was a ground nest removal during this day, before or after the removal that I did. You really can't even tell how many numbers were in there just because it's all one big gloppy mess. All right, so after I take apart all these nests, usually I take apart about 5 or 6 nests at a time. So that's why you're seeing this massive pile, even though you're only seeing one removal. So when I bring these nests up, I dump out an entire bin full of yellow jackets, hornets, and other different types of wasp nests, and feed them to the girls. And you can tell they kind of seem a bit disinterested, or maybe they're not as enthused about coming over and eating, because they get so many of these nests during the peak season. And so they kind of chip at them, and then they'll walk away. They'll go down and eat some grass and whatever, and then they come back up an hour later and eat some more nest and what have you. So it's not really that they're not interested. It's just that they probably already ate a lot of stuff during the daytime, and now they're just kind of getting a little bit of a treat before they go back to eating regular stuff or free ranging. My girls are 100% free range in the sense that they put themselves to bed and they get themselves up in the morning. They leave the barn in the morning time. They go around the forage around through my entire property, and then around dusk, or around close to sunset, they walk all the way back to the barn and get themselves back in bed. I don't have to do anything with that. This is a catydid that I found inside my house, and I know that cats like katydids, so I decided to try to feed it to the squirrels, knowing that squirrels are also omnivores and will pretty much eat other types of insects. So assuming a cat likes a katydid, I figured, well, maybe a squirrel would like the taste of a katydid too. So this is Miss Emily, and she really just wanted to play with it. She didn't really care to eat it as much because I had just given her some peanuts. So I gave her another taste of it. This is the first insect I'd ever given her. And she's definitely interested in it. She was tasting it. She liked it. But then, again, she wanted to play around some more. So I decided to take it out to Humphrey, which is Miss Emily's mom.
Kind of feel bad killing it now.
And Humphrey comes over, and I hand it to her, and then she just tears into the thing. Humphrey was the first squirrel that I had rescued from a high school friend of mine. She had contacted me in regards to having this squirrel that she found outside. And it was squealing. It was an infant. So I came over to her house and picked it up and brought her back, and I hand raised her, thinking that she was a male. Sexing squirrels isn't something that I was very good at, in the sense that there's a slight difference in their genitalia. There's no large balls to look for. So Humphrey turned out to be a female when I noticed that she was pregnant and she had babies. So Miss Emily was one of her babies. I took her to rescue her from my neighbor's tree and hand raised her and her sister, Miss Mamie. So Miss Emily and Miss Mamie were two of the baby squirrels that I had after Humphrey.
Hello, Squirrely Squirrel. Hi, Squirrely Squirrel. Hi, Emily. That's it, Squirrely Squirrel. Yummy wasp nest, Squirrely Squirrel. A yummy wasp larva and pupating adult, Squirrely Squirrel. Ouch.
Alright everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to check out this video. If you guys enjoyed this content, drop in the comments, let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions for future videos or something like to see me cover in an upcoming video, also drop in the comments, let me know. If you guys haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. And if you'd like to, hit the bell notification down below, and that way you get an update anytime I do post a video. Alright everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to check out this video and supporting my channel, and I'll catch you on the next video.